Do you ever find yourself diligently trying to eat well, choosing foods that are labeled healthy or that you've always believed were good for you, only to feel confused when your blood sugar numbers don't quite cooperate? Perhaps you've experienced that afternoon slump, or found yourself scratching your head, wondering why your body isn't responding the way you expect, especially when you're so careful with your diet. It can be incredibly frustrating. Can't it, many of us, especially as we get a little older, become more conscious about what we put into our bodies, hoping to stay vibrant, energetic, and keep those important health markers, like blood sugar, in check? The painful reality is that sometimes, the very foods we choose with the best intentions can secretly be working against us, subtly nudging our blood sugar higher without us even realizing it. These aren't junk foods we're talking about. These are often items that appear wholesome, natural, or even come with a health halo. But don't worry, because today, we're going to pull back the curtain on some of these stealthy culprits. In this video, we're going to reveal 5 common, healthy foods that might be secretly raising your blood sugar. And more importantly, we'll talk about simple, practical swaps and adjustments you can make to regain control. Stick with me to the very end, because I'll share a crucial insight that might truly surprise you and change the way you look at your plate and your health goals. Let's dive right into our first surprising culprit. A drink many of us reach for thinking we're starting our day on a healthy note: fruit juices and those seemingly innocent healthy smoothies. You might be thinking, but fruit is natural, full of vitamins. How can that be bad? And you're right. Whole fruit is absolutely fantastic for you, packed with fiber, vitamins, and antioxidants. The problem arises when that fruit is juiced or blended into a smoothie without careful consideration. Think about it. To make 1 glass of orange juice, you might need to squeeze 3 or 4 oranges. When you eat a whole orange, all that wonderful fiber slows down the absorption of the fruit's natural sugars into your bloodstream. Your body has to work a bit to break down the fruit, and this gradual process helps keep your blood sugar stable. But when you drink juice, all that fiber is gone. What's left is essentially a concentrated dose of sugar water, and your body absorbs it incredibly quickly. It's like sending a rush of glucose directly into your system, which can cause a rapid spike in blood sugar, putting extra strain on your pancreas. The same goes for many store-bought smoothies. Even those marketed as healthy or all-natural, they often contain multiple servings of fruit without much fiber, and sometimes even have added sweeteners or fruit concentrates you wouldn't expect. So, what's the actionable step here? It's simple but powerful. Prioritize whole fruit over fruit juice. If you love a refreshing drink, try infusing water with slices of citrus or berries instead. If you enjoy smoothies, make them yourself at home. The key is to control the ingredients. Include plenty of leafy greens like spinach or kale. You'll barely taste them, but they add incredible nutrients and fiber. Add a source of protein, like a scoop of protein powder, plain Greek yogurt, or a spoonful of nut butter, and some healthy fats from half an avocado or a tablespoon of chia or flax seeds. Use unsweetened almond milk or water as your liquid base, and go easy on the fruit. Perhaps just half a banana or a small handful of berries. This way, you're getting the nutrients without the massive sugar load. Remember, the goal is to slow down sugar absorption, not accelerate it. Now, let's move on to our second surprising item, one that often appears in trail mixes or as a quick snack: dried fruit. Just like fruit juice, dried fruit comes from, well, fruit. And because it's natural, many of us assume it's an ideal healthy snack. But here's the catch: when fruit is dried, all the water content is removed, which leaves behind a very concentrated source of sugar. Imagine a plump bunch of grapes. They're juicy, refreshing, and full of fiber. Now, imagine those same grapes dried into raisins. To get just a small handful of raisins, you're consuming the sugar content of many, many grapes, but in a much more compact form, and often with some of that beneficial fiber compromised in the drying process. Because they're so small and easy to eat, it's incredibly easy to overdo it with dried fruit without even realizing how much sugar you're consuming. A small box of raisins can contain as much sugar as a candy bar, and you're likely to eat it much faster. This rapid intake of concentrated sugar can lead to a quick and significant rise in your blood sugar levels, similar to what happens with juice. So, what can you do? The best advice is to treat dried fruit like candy, a very small, occasional treat, not a main snack. If you do choose to eat dried fruit, be mindful of your portion size. A good strategy is to pair a very small amount of dried fruit with something that contains protein and healthy fats, like a few almonds or walnuts, or a small piece of cheese. The protein and fat will help slow down the digestion and absorption of the sugars, mitigating the blood sugar spike. But honestly, the best approach for managing blood sugar is to opt for fresh, whole fruit whenever possible. A crisp apple, a handful of berries, or a juicy pear will provide more fiber, more water, and a much more gradual release of natural sugars into your system, making them far better choices for your blood sugar health. Now that we've shed some light on those seemingly innocent fruit-based choices, let's turn our attention to another breakfast staple that might be secretly working against your blood sugar goals. Our third surprising culprit, one that often lands in our shopping carts for its perceived health benefits, is flavored yogurt, especially those labeled low-fat. Yogurt has a wonderful reputation, and for good reason. It's a source of protein, calcium, and often beneficial probiotics for gut health. We're told low-fat is better for our hearts, and adding fruit flavors sounds like a delicious bonus. Right, but here's the secret: when manufacturers remove fat from dairy products, they often need to replace it with something else to maintain flavor and texture. And that something else is almost always sugar, and often a lot of it. You might pick up a small cup of flavored, low-fat yogurt, thinking you're making a healthy choice, only to find that it contains more added sugar than a donut or a chocolate chip cookie. Even yogurts with fruit on the bottom can be deceptive. That fruit layer is typically a sugary fruit preserve, not fresh fruit, and it's loaded with sweeteners. Your body processes this added sugar very quickly, leading to those unwanted blood sugar spikes. So, how can you navigate the yogurt aisle more wisely? The key is to choose plain, unsweetened yogurt, preferably plain Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt has the added benefit of being higher in protein, which helps you feel full and satisfied, and also helps to slow down the absorption of any natural sugars present. Once you have your plain yogurt, you are in control of the sweetness. You can add your own fresh fruit, but do so mindfully. A small handful of fresh berries, blueberries, raspberries, or strawberries will provide natural sweetness along with fiber, without the concentrated sugar load. A sprinkle of cinnamon can also enhance the perception of sweetness, and even has some blood sugar benefits of its own. If you need a bit more sweetness, consider a tiny drizzle of pure vanilla extract or a pinch of a natural, zero-calorie sweetener like stevia. Always make it a habit to turn the yogurt container around and read the nutrition label. Look for added sugars and try to choose options with the lowest amount possible, ideally zero. By taking control of the ingredients, you transform a potentially high-sugar trap into a truly healthy, blood sugar-friendly meal or snack. Moving on to our fourth item that often gets a gold star for health, but can surprisingly raise blood sugar: instant oatmeal and many pre-sweetened breakfast cereals. Oatmeal has long been lauded as a heart-healthy breakfast, a good source of fiber, and a warming way to start the day. And in its purest form, old-fashioned rolled oats or steel-cut oats. It truly is. These varieties are minimally processed, meaning their fiber structure remains largely intact, which helps your body digest them slowly, leading to a gradual rise in blood sugar. However, the problem arises with instant oatmeal packets. These are highly processed to cook quickly, often pre-cooked and then dried, which can significantly alter their glycemic index. This means your body breaks them down much faster, sending glucose into your bloodstream rapidly. To make matters worse, instant oatmeal packets, especially the flavored varieties like maple and brown sugar, or apple cinnamon, are often loaded with added sugars, artificial flavorings, and even preservatives. You might be consuming as much sugar as you would in a dessert. All before lunch, the same principle applies to many breakfast cereals. Even those claiming to be whole grain can be deceptive. Often, the whole grain content is minimal, and they're packed with refined flours, added sugars, corn syrup, and other fast-digesting carbohydrates. Some cereals might even list sugar as one of the first few ingredients. A clear red flag. So, what's the better choice? Opt for old-fashioned rolled oats or steel-cut oats, and take the extra few minutes to cook them from scratch. This allows you to control exactly what goes into your bowl. For flavor, skip the sugary packets and instead add fresh or frozen berries, a sprinkle of cinnamon, a few chopped nuts or seeds like flax or chia for extra fiber and healthy fats, and a dollop of plain Greek yogurt for protein. If you prefer a bit of sweetness, a tiny amount of stevia or a very small drizzle of pure maple syrup can be added, but sparingly. For cereals, ditch the sugary, highly processed varieties. Look for options with minimal added sugar and high fiber content. Better yet, consider non-cereal breakfast options that are naturally low in sugar and high in protein and healthy fats, like eggs with vegetables or plain yogurt with berries. We've covered some big ones already, but our final item on this list is something many of us rely on daily, thinking we're making the healthiest choice. Our fifth and final surprising food that can secretly raise your blood sugar is whole wheat or multigrain bread and pasta, especially when not truly whole grain or consumed in large quantities. For years, we've been told to choose whole wheat over white bread, and that multigrain is the pinnacle of healthy eating. And while there's truth to the idea that whole grains are better than refined ones, the devil is often in the details and the serving size. First, let's tackle the labels. A bread labeled whole wheat isn't always 100% whole wheat. Often, it's mostly refined white flour with just a bit of whole wheat flour added for color and a slight increase in fiber. For a bread or pasta to truly offer blood sugar benefits, you need to look for 100% whole wheat or 100% whole grain as the very first ingredient. If it just says wheat flour or enriched flour, it's largely refined, and your body will break it down into sugar very quickly, leading to a rapid blood sugar spike, even when you do find a truly 100% whole grain product. Portion control is absolutely crucial. While the fiber in whole grains helps slow down sugar absorption compared to refined grains, whole grains are still carbohydrates, and all carbohydrates eventually break down into glucose in your bloodstream. Eating a large sandwich with 2 thick slices of 100% whole grain bread or a huge bowl of whole grain pasta can still deliver a significant carb load that can elevate your blood sugar. For example, a single serving of pasta might be about half a cup cooked, but many of us eat 2, 3, or even 4 times that amount. So, what's the actionable step here? Be a label detective. Always look for 100% whole wheat or 100% whole grain as the first ingredient on your bread and pasta products. Consider sourdough bread or sprouted grain breads, which often have a lower glycemic impact due to their processing. And most importantly, practice mindful portion control. Instead of making bread or pasta the main star of your meal, treat them as a side dish. Fill your plate predominantly with non-starchy vegetables, a good source of lean protein, and healthy fats. For example, instead of a large plate of pasta with a little sauce, have a large serving of roasted vegetables with a piece of grilled chicken or fish, and just a small side of whole grain pasta. Or, if you enjoy sandwiches, try an open-faced sandwich with just 1 slice of 100% whole grain bread, loaded with lean protein and plenty of fresh veggies. It's about balance and conscious choices. So, we've talked about fruit juices and dried fruits, those deceptively sweet treats that can pack a sugary punch. We looked at how sneaky sugars hide in seemingly healthy flavored yogurts and instant oatmeals. And finally, we uncovered the truth about whole wheat breads and pastas. emphasizing the importance of truly whole grains and mindful portion control. It's not about cutting these foods out of your life entirely, but about being aware, making smarter swaps, and understanding how much you're consuming. You've now got the knowledge to spot these hidden sugar traps. Remember, knowledge is power, and even small, consistent changes can make a profound difference in managing your blood sugar and boosting your overall health and happiness. You're already taking a huge step just by watching this and learning how to make more informed choices for yourself. I'd love to hear from you. Have you found any other foods that surprised you with their hidden sugar content? What healthy swaps have you discovered that have helped you manage your blood sugar? Share your experiences, your tips, or even just what you found most helpful in this video down in the comments below. Your insights help our whole community thrive and learn from each other. If this video gave you some valuable insights and helped you understand your food choices better, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps us reach more people who need this important information. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and ring that notification bell so you don't miss out on our future videos, where we'll continue to share practical, easy to understand advice for living your best life and truly enjoying every moment. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep taking charge of your well-being. Here's to feeling vibrant, energetic, and living your best life at every age.